A very beautiful Sabbath, blessed new moon, the first day of the month Kislev in the Bible. I'd like to welcome you all, keeping the new moon, and may God bless you all for keeping His appointed times. And we are going to continue studying the judgment of the living as we left it the previous study. And today, when we left it last time, we had approached a time where David used one stone out of picking 5 stones. He picked 5 stones, put them in the bag, and slew Goliath by 1 stone. Now we want to understand this prophecy correctly, because it's not just a story for you to read for the children that this is what happened without a significance out of it. So, what are we going to understand from this story? We go to tract 8, 59.1. Let us read and understand about these 5 stones, right?
The 5 smooth stones in David's bag,
Right.
with one of which he slew Goliath, typify the 5-fold power in the antitypical shepherd's bag, the Bible.
Which one is the shepherd bag? It's the Bible. That's the shepherd bag. You understand? That's the bag which always was with David. And he picked the 5 stones and put in the bag. And the bag, now we know, is the Bible. Now let's hear more.
With one part of which God shall today smite the beast and his image.
Right. So one part of the stone, God is going to use one part of the stone to smite the beast
And the image. Amen.
and its image. We know in Revelation 13, we have a beast and its image. And this is God is going to use one stone out of the 5. But what are these 5? Let's hear more.
With one part of which God shall today smite the beast and his image, the nations,
Right.
the antitypical Goliath. And since we know that it is by his word, in the form of a message, that he shall smite the nations.
What is in the bag?
A message.
We know the bag has got, the bag represents the Bible. But what did God put in the bag? He put 5 stones. What are these 5 stones? 5 messages. We have 5 messages which start from Matthew chapter 20, verse 1 up to the end. You find that there was 5 typical messages. These messages are going to be used by God. They are in the bag already. But as they are in the bag, he only preserved 1 stone, the last stone, which is going to smite Goliath, the mark of the beast and its image. Now, as we see these 5 stones, these are the 5 messages. When you go to Matthew chapter 20, you find there are some who said, let's just have a quick run to Matthew chapter 20 to understand which 5 messages are there, which are represented by 5 stones. But David used the 5 stones. He put the 5 stones in the bag, which is the Bible. The Bible contains 5 messages. But with 1 stone, he's going to smite the image of the beast. Then we know there are 5 calls in the Bible, 5 messages given. But let's go to through Matthew chapter 20, verse 1. Let's hear.
Verse 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder.
Right.
Which,
so this is what God is talking about, the kingdom of heaven. He's not talking about anything else, but he's talking about the kingdom which we are preaching. We are preaching the judgment for the living, which is going to usher in the kingdom. But what is it? The kingdom, what is it like? Let's hear the parable which Christ has said. This is the parable which presents the 5 stones which David picked and put in the bag. Let's hear.
For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder,
Right.
which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard.
Right.
And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard.
Right. So he went to the first laborers And who are the first laborers? If you are all Abraham's seed, who were the first children of Abraham? We know the first, early in the morning, they were the first who were sent by God. Which ones are those? Those who went out with Moses, isn't it? Those were the first ones to be called early in the morning, right? Let's hear.
And he went out about the third hour,
Right.
and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard,
Right.
and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way.
So God called Moses in the first hour. What did he give to Moses as a weapon, as a stone? He gave the ceremonial law. Is it true? That's where we find it. Though Abraham was keeping it before the children of Israel went out, he was keeping the statute. We know that from Genesis chapter 26. We are told clearly he was a statute keeper, which are the festivals. But let's hear from the call of Moses. The very first stone he was given was the ceremonial law. This is what he used in his time. That's the stone he used, the ceremonial law. Now let's hear more.
And said unto them, Go ye also into my vineyard,
Right?
and
So
whatsoever
he
is right.
meets the next one when? At the third hour.
At the third
You
hour.
see, at the third hour, he met the next ones. And what did he say to them?
And he said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard,
Right.
and whatsoever is right I will give you.
He said the vineyard are the people of God. But what was given a stone. And we saw the very first stone was the ceremonial law which Moses used in his movement. That's the movement which is the ceremonial law, the Aaron's killing the animals and everything. And then the next one, called at the third hour, is the movement which was raised by Christ when he came the first time. But this movement also was given a stone, is it? What was his message? What was his message? People were supposed to accept him as a son of God. But what also was he using? Was he using the same stone? Yes. He actually fulfilled these stones by making sure now he instituted the Lord's Supper. That was a ceremonial law. He instituted the ceremonial law before he died at even, which we get in Patriarchs and Prophets, page 539, gets it clearly that where the Passover lamb was being killed, he instituted the Lord's Supper on the 14th day of the first month. So he was still keeping the ceremonial law in his anti-time. He instituted it and gave it to the Christians. That's why we see those who were in the early Christian church, the Paul, the like of Paul, the like of Peter, the life of all the disciples. They were keeping the day of Pentecost, which was the ceremonial law. They were there keeping the ceremonial law as well. The stone was there in the time of Christ. The first stone we saw is the ceremonial law in the time of Moses. We still see the ceremonial law in the time of the Christian church, but only one thing was removed. This is the animal sacrifice. That was removed. But they still continued. Paul and the disciples, the early Christian church, were still keeping these festivals. Is it true? Yeah. If you want, we can go to the Good News Bible and check on Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. You find that the beast in the Dark Ages, which is 588 to 1798 AD, in the Christian era, is the one who removed the festivals. Now let's hear from that.
Verse 25.
Right, verse 25.
He will speak against the supreme God,
You see what the beast did? Spoke against the supreme God and what?
and oppress God's people.
Right, this is what he did.
He will try to change their religious laws and festivals.
What did he change? Not one thing. I was debating with a brethren just right now. And I was saying, I did not know these ceremonial laws are supposed to reign in the time of the Christian era. But what time was the Dark Ages? Where the beast was changing the ceremonial system. It was changing the ceremonial laws. And also the religious festivals and the religious laws. What is a festival? Maybe sometimes it's a problem of, grammar or English or what, because you don't know what the festival means. It means the beasts, we prove they were there in the Dark Ages. And the beast changed not only the 10 Commandments, but also the festivals. So are we together now when you say even Christ's movement, which came at the 3rd hour, was also having the ceremonial law in the Christian era without the animal sacrifices, but the ceremonial law continued? Did you understand? That's another stone, the second stone. Now let's hear from that paragraph where you read in Matthew chapter 20.
Again, he went out about the 6th and the 9th hour.
Do you see these two are connected? When it says 6th and the 9th hour, they are connected. Why are they connected? Because the Millerite movement, which came also at the 6th hour, was connected to the Sabbath message from Sister White. Sister White was a student of Miller. So that's why these messages are connected. There is an end there. But when the 1st hour, there was no connection. It was on its own. And then the 3rd hour, it was the early Christian church on its own. But when it came to the 6th and the 9th hour, these are connected. Why? Ellen White was a student to William Miller, and these are together. They are the first Advent. First of all, he was a first Advent reformer, reforming only in the coming of Christ. Advent is the coming of Christ. If you decide to call it your name, that's your problem. But the name Advent only refers to the coming of Christ. And this first day Advent, which is William Miller, still keeping Sunday, which is the first day, is called the first day Advent. It was on the 6th hour. And then after that, we have the 9th hour call, which was Sister White with the Sabbath message in the sanctuary. She only attempted the Sabbath message, but the sanctuary message was left up to A.T. Jones and Waggoner, who came in 1888 and was strongly rejected. Did you understand? When we meet tomorrow, which is the Sabbath, tomorrow, we will be debating more about how then the sanctuary message was injected after it was rejected in 1888. How does it come about in our time? That's a strong message, that one. That's what we all want to understand. How then, if the message was rejected in 1888, would we just hop in the cloud without that message coming back to us? No, we will see it when we see how it comes back to us after it was rejected, and after it was predicted that it will come again, and now is back, how it is back to us before we are hopping in that cloud that you so much love. So here we have this 6th and 9th hour is these two stones. How then did William Miller, expect the coming of Christ in the time of a feast? Why? Why do you think? Were they people with appointed hours? Yes, they were. How would you guess 22 October 1844 is a day of atonement? How would you guess that? That's a feast time, isn't it? The feast is a day of atonement. Do you see the stone was still with them? Do you see that? And Sister White was also given a message on Revelation 14, verse 9, which shows that she was giving a warning for people who will refuse to keep, to change back what the beast had changed in the Dark Ages. What did the beast change? Change the religious laws and festivals. Are there people rejecting the festival? Yes, we have people accepting the 10 Commandments, but rejecting the festivals. That's your warning from Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. If any man worship the beast and his image, whether you accept the Sabbath and the 10 Commandments, and yet the beast changed two things. The beast changed the Sabbath together with the festivals. So whether you say, I at least have taken the 10 Commandments and reject the festivals, you're still swimming in the same boat with those who rejected the Sabbath. So this is where you have to understand clearly what the mark of the beast should be. It says it is more understood at the unrolling of the scroll. And the scroll is unrolling and telling you that the mark of the beast is not only the Sunday laws we are posing about. The mark of the beast is also rejection of the festivals. That's the mark of the beast. Two things were changed in the Dark Ages. Two things should be brought back for you not to worship the beast. Do you understand there? Now here, what is this warning about? That's why she has a full chapter on 537, patriarchs and prophets, on annual feasts. Why? She was attempting the sanctuary laws, which Daniel chapter 8, verse 13 to 14 promised that these, unto 2,300 years, which started in 1844, shall these laws be brought back of the sanctuary be cleansed by bringing these laws back. But we see our brethren in 1888, they rejected the sanctuary message coming with 80 Johns and we're going to give us righteousness by faith. Do you understand? So we have to understand the history and also understand where we are and also understand where we are going. This is why we meet to discuss the present truth. And by it, we will be sealed. And by it, we will enter the pearly gates that we so long to be in. Do you understand? Now here, these 5 stones, we saw the first caller, which was the movement by Moses, and also the second call, which was at the 3rd hour, which was the movement by Christ in the early Christian church. And we also see Sister White together with William Miller on the 6th, which is William Miller, and this 9th hour, which is Sister White. They all have stones. So we now have 4 stones. We are left with the next stone, which becomes the 5th stone, which is our topic today. Do you understand? We are talking about the 5th stone. That's why when you check your hands, you find there are 5 fingers. Right? 5 fingers for the 5 messages, which is from the movement of Moses to our time. And also 5 fingers on the left, which is also the 5 angels' message in Revelation chapter 14. 5 here, 5 there. Then you are safe and sound in the pearly gates. We will enjoy this. When we are worshiping God, He gives us everything. He unrolls everything to His servants, to His children who are being translated, so that they have nothing missing from all the books of the Bible, from the Old Testament to the New Testament. They understand that mysterious book before they enter the pearly gates. Don't you want that? That's a superb, spiritual standard. Do you understand? When you know everything in nitty-gritty, why God had to write about Jacob and Esau, why God had to write about David, why God had to write about Isaac, all these things, then you are nourishing from these Old Testament prophecies while you are in the New Testament period. This is the prophecy he gave to Joseph. He gave to Pharaoh, which Joseph interpreted, that you dreamt about 7 cattle which were fat, and then the lean ones, which are the slim ones, and later on came 7 also. But the ones which were lean, which were slim, had to devour those who were fat. Had to eat, which is an unnatural way, which is something which was an allegory for you and I to understand. That in the New Testament period, we will nourish from the Old Testament prophecies so that we understand where we are, so that we understand where we are going. This is what God designed the Bible to be like. You and me, we should sit down and enjoy the present truth. You understand? So now, let's go to the 5th stone. We have seen 1st stone, 2nd stone, 3rd stone, 4th stone. Now we know these 4 stones, that the first one was Moses' movement, 2nd one, the early Christian church, and the 3rd is William Miller's First-day Adventist, and the 4th is the Sabbath one under Sister White. But you cannot be saved without the 5th. We need the 5th. With the 5th message, which comes at the 11th hour. Let's hear that one. Yeah. Matthew 20.
Verse 6, the
Next
11th
one.
hour.
Yeah.
And about the 11th hour,
About the 11th hour.
he went out and
Right.
found others standing idle,
Right?
and said unto them, Why stand ye all idle?
You see, there is a question on these 11th hour callers. That question wasn't there with the 1st and the 3rd hour and the 6th and the 9th hour. groups, they were not questioned. Did you see that?
Mm.
The question is on those who are left with 1 hour, because the full day should be 12 hours. So we are left with 1 hour for us to reach the 12th hour. So those ones have a question which is horrible, because it displays that they are idle. First, they are just, why? Why stand ye idle? They are found without a prophet. Did you understand? They are found without a prophet. Whatever they are doing, they're just in the warm-up like curtain raisers before a major match would play. They are just warming up. There's no goal. Even when there's a goal, it's not taken into account. It is that is curtain raising everywhere. You're curtain raising. You're just in a warm-up. But look at the instructor, the farmer says, why are you idle? Why are you idle? So that's why we understand some of these songs that we sing. Yeah? Where are the reapers? Oh, who will come? Because these are supposed to work for 1 hour. One consecutive hour. Just one. Some were working for 3 hours. But these ones, 1 hour. 11th hour caller. Listen to the question. Listen to that. And you also listen to the answer. Listen to that. Yeah.
And about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle. And
They were idle. The Bible is clear on that point. They were, whatever you think you are doing, we have millions there, we have whatever. The Bible clearly tells us that you are idle. Idle. Yeah, you don't have the message of the hour. You are idle. They were idle, these people, idle. Now read on, let's hear.
And saith unto them,
Right?
why stand ye here all day idle?
You see, they were not even sitting, they were standing. Have you seen somebody with nothing to do? The best thing, the best way to be when you have nothing to do is just to sit on a chair, sit down or sit in the lawn, sit and bask in the sun. These were not like that. They were standing idle. What is to stand? Stand. They will tell you that we stand. We are also ready. We are also at the church of God. We've got all the messages. Yet they have nothing. Nothing. And the question actually says, why are you standing idle? Why? You know, why are you standing idle? And the worst thing is that when they were working like that, they thought they were doing something, but they were doing nothing. God actually said they were doing nothing. They are standing idle. Before the 11th hour workers were called, they were idle. The Bible is clear on that point. Don't tell us you are working. As long as you have no fifth stone, that fifth stone, it means whatever you are doing, it's correct. Isaiah 4 says, they were all saying, we will eat our bread and wear our parade. We only want your name to be called by your name to take away our reproach. Isaiah chapter 4 says you, on verse 1, says that clearly. So